So object storage is an important backend for anything that stores files in a cloud environment. Because you don't want to be working with files. You want to be working with objects, which can be anywhere. And that is exactly what Swift is doing. Before we dive into the configuration, let's try to understand Swift object storage. The problem is that disk-based storage in a cloud is not elastic, because disk is always bound to a physical location and it is difficult to scale. Even distributed file systems, such as GlusRFS, are not elastic enough. Because if it all stops, you need to add something to it. On the contrary, distributed file systems are being used in a cloud environment. But if you want to do it in a more flexible way, a new storage model is needed, and that is object storage. In object storage, data is not written as file. It is written as multiple binary objects, and the binary objects are dispersed in a replicated way over many storage nodes. The object storage metadata is dispersed over multiple nodes in a replicated way as well. And the result of this is that when an application is trying to access these binary objects in order to read its data, it doesn't really matter which node it is getting it from. Swift takes care of the replication, Swift takes care of the availability. And the application doesn't care anymore which physical hard drive it is on. So Swift ensures that hard drives can be abstracted away from the storage model. And that is exactly what is needed in cloud environments. In order to access these objects, the application needs to be changed as well. The application can no longer just open a file as it was used to do in the good old days. The application needs to make an API call to the object storage. Let's see in the slide how this is working. So we've got the application. The application is using REST API. You remember RESTful API, the default language that is used by nearly everything in an OpenStack environment. So the RESTful API call goes to Swift proxy. Swift proxy really is the access point for the application for accessing these binary objects. And behind the Swift proxy, there are many storage nodes. The Swift proxy is taking care of the direction of the specific request to the specific storage nodes that are needed. It is just arrows because the application really doesn't care about it. And on those many storage nodes, multiple binary objects are stored. So on the storage nodes, you won't find any files. You find chunks of data. And the chunks of data are not easily recognizable as files, the way it was before. And this is the model that Swift is using in cloud environments. Now, how is this used in our scenario where an instance is going to be deployed? Well, simple. Glance is using images. Cinder is using volumes. These images and volumes need to be stored somewhere. They can be stored as files on a local file system, on a distributed file system, or on a network file system. But if you want to do it in the most flexible way that is available, they should be stored in Swift object storage. Now let's move on and let's talk about its configuration.